Yo, what's going on everybody? This is Rob with Curated Culture, and this is the brand new Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. That's a mouthful. It is by far one of Samsung's most advanced devices. It packs in a ton of features, a ton of screen, and even more usability. For starters, one of the biggest things that you'll notice off the top as soon as you start using this phone is literally one of the biggest things on the phone, which is this giant camera hump right on the back there. Now, holding it this way, it doesn't necessarily look that bad, but when you look at the phone from the side, you can see that camera jets off of the back there and almost immediately creates a need for a carrying case. The last phone that they made with a camera assembly this huge was, of course, the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, which, as we know by now, had the 100x space zoom and that massive camera hump. Well, Samsung kept the same size camera hump on this device, and they actually shrank this phone down. So believe it or not, it is a little bit thinner of a device than what you would have gotten with the S20 Ultra, but still, Samsung hasn't found a way to reduce that giant camera bezel on the back. Probably one of my favorite things about this device, though, is the massive 6.9-inch Edge Infinity O display that Samsung put onto the Note 20 Ultra. Now, the standard Note 20 has an actual flat screen. The Note 20 Ultra gains a little bit more in the design because it actually has a curved display, and you can kind of see the edges of the screen ever so slightly sloping off to meet the aluminum frame or metal frame on the phone itself. It is a really nice looking, nice feeling, premium device. For what it's worth to me, I probably would have preferred a flat screen on this one as well, just for look's sake, because the edges sometimes do feel a bit, I don't know, it feels like I'm gonna activate the edge display accidentally or something like that, but it's not too big of a distraction where it actually completely takes away from the experience. I just think the flatter screen would have been better on both models. Now, be that as it may, the phone rocks a ridiculous 3088 by 1440 resolution display, and it also packs in an insane 120 Hz refresh rate. Now, what all that means to you is two things. The screen is going to look gorgeous in essentially any kind of lighting. Direct sunlight, poor light, low light, ideal lighting, it'll look fantastic. But in addition to that, thanks to the 120 Hz refresh rate, scrolling, zooming, tapping, pinching, watching videos, and even playing video games is going to look great, and you won't have any lag, any stutter, because this phone is built to keep up with anything that you can throw at it. Now, why do I say it's built to withstand anything that you throw at it? Because simply put, it is. The Galaxy Note 20 Ultra is an absolute machine. Now, the phone that I'm using is a pre-production model, but I'm pretty sure the specs are going to be about the same. This one in particular rocks 256 gigs of internal storage. It has 12 gigs of RAM, an octa-core Samsung Exynos processor, and of course IP68 water resistancy, which means you can get this guy wet down to 1.5 meters, which 1.5 meters ends up being roughly 4 feet. So water resistant isn't as in depth as what you would get on something like the iPhone 11 Pro or the 11 Pro Max, but still pretty solid either way. Rounding out some of the basic features on the phone, you have a massive 4500 milliamp hour battery inside of this guy, which pretty much means you're going to be rocking all day battery life if you don't keep the screen on the 120 Hz refresh rate. That is the trade-off. You get a smoother scrolling, smoother experience on the device, but you sacrifice battery. Now, you can bump it down to standard or regular, as I like to call it, and the screen refresh rate is bumped all the way down to 60 Hz. Now, the trade-off there is you get magnificent battery life, but it doesn't look as great when you're playing games or things like that. The Note 20 Ultra also supports both wired and wireless rapid charging. So Samsung, with the included charger, is saying that you can go from 0 to 100% in just under an hour, which is absolutely brilliant for a phone this size. Now, we know Samsung isn't specifically creating this device to give you a brilliant screen experience. They're also wanting to completely and totally transform your photo experience as well. The camera system that Samsung included on both Notes, but more specifically in this example, the Note 20 Ultra, is nothing short of breathtaking. So for starters, up front, you have a 10 megapixel selfie camera. So the cameras on the back of this bad devil are nothing short of amazing. So in regards to the 3 lenses that you have there, you have 2 12 megapixel cameras and 1 108, that's right, 108 megapixel lenses. So the 2 12 megapixel cameras are for the ultra wide photos, and then the telephoto lens, and then you also have a standard 108 megapixel wide angle lens. Now the 12 megapixel telephoto lens also pulls off a little bit of camera magic, so to speak. It's also capable of shooting up to 50 times in Samsung's super res zoom, which I utilized, and while the idea and the theory of the super res zoom is cool, using it is a little bit of a nightmare. You kind of have to aim the lens at whatever it is that you're shooting. You're helped out on a screen by a little heads-up display that gives you crosshairs that shows you what you're pointing at. The resolution still isn't there. I mean, it's a neat camera trick for sure, and if I ever need to take photos of something like that, I would probably just use a digital camera instead, because that is the one fairly disappointing part of the camera, is that the super res zoom still has a little ways to go. Again, great in novelty for sure, but I'm not really sure on the practicality of it. Now the other 2 lenses, both the wide angle lenses, were absolutely stellar. I took a couple of photos of the sky, took a couple of photos of things around the house, glasses, things like that, and the depth and color clarity on those photos was nothing short of incredible. It wasn't too saturated or too washed out. I would likely say that in regards to the next batch of smartphones, unless Apple pulls something absolutely amazing out, the camera on the Note 20 Ultra might be one of the best in the biz. Now, video was also super cool to record. It can record in standard HD, Ultra HD, and then what Samsung is saying is 8K resolution, which does look pretty gorgeous, if I must say so myself. Now the trick with the 8K resolution though is you'd most likely want to use it on a tripod, because the slightest little bit of shake and it's Blursville all throughout your video. Let's talk a little bit about the feature on the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra that I most likely won't hardly ever use, and that is this guy, the S Pen. Samsung has made tons of improvements with the S Pen over the years. I think possibly my single most favorite feature on it though is the fact that you can now use it as a remote of sorts. So if your Note 20 is on a tripod, or if you just need to capture a quick group photo, you can actually double click right on the front of the S Pen and it launches the camera. Another single tap and it snaps a photo for you. Really simple, really straightforward. That is probably the only thing that I can think of that I would use it for, but I mean, there's tons of other options when using the S Pen. You got your standard features like your screen write, you can take notes with it, but Samsung is also including something new called AR Doodle. It allows you to create or manipulate AR objects in your current environment. So you can sketch little twinkly worms on the screen if you want to, or you can cut out a specific object in your camera and paste it into a photo later down the road. Whatever you want to do with it. I do also appreciate that when the S Pen is ejected from the phone itself, you get a lovely little battery life reminder right in the upper right hand corner of the display, just to tell you how much juice you have left on your S Pen. Now if you need to recharge it, you simply dock it back into the phone and it starts to recharge. Simple as that. Now I know we spoke a little bit about performance earlier, but I think that is one of the single biggest advancements on this phone. And Samsung is so confident in the performance of the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra that it is making it one of the first phones that will actually be compatible with Game Pass through Microsoft. So now you'll be able to play all of your favorite Xbox games right on the device itself, and it even makes it compatible with a couple of third-party controllers which will be released in the coming months. Now, playing games on this phone though, especially the mobile games in particular, is like a whole nother experience. I sat down and I played a couple of first-person shooters. I played Asphalt 9 and then of course Fortnite from Epic Games, which actually comes preloaded on the Note, and I legit couldn't see any lag, any slowdown whatsoever. So the Note actually, again, withstands all of the abuse that you can throw at it, and it keeps coming back for more. All in all, the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra is most likely going to be one of the year's absolute best devices, hands down, period. Combining a first-class camera experience, next-level processor, insane battery life, and an absolutely gorgeous display, it's going to be hard to beat this phone coming up. I mean, Apple specifically has their work cut out for them because Samsung has really been stepping their game up as of late. The Galaxy Note 20 and Note 20 Ultra will be available for pre-order right now as you're watching this video, but they don't fully release until August 21st. You can do your pre-orders on Samsung.com with Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile. Even with the hefty price tag on this device, I would still expect this phone to sell pretty fast. Again, it's one of the best phones that Samsung has produced in a while. Regardless of how you feel about the S Pen, the performance that this phone puts out is more than worth the price tag. I myself think, again, this is probably going to be one of the best Android devices of the year. Thank you guys so very much for checking this out. If you like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way you get every single video just like this one. Make sure you guys head on over to thecuratedculture.com for the full review on the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. I am Rob, aka Robbie Diesel, on the Facebook, on the tweets, on the Instagrams, on the Snapchats, the whole shot. Follow me along over there. I appreciate you guys checking this out. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.